So, here's nothing. As a child, I lived my life in a different way. My body short and thin as comparing to my sister, but tall and stocky to my peers. I was strong with muscle, sinewy and solid, climbing trees as deftly as an ape would, riding my bike strong and hard, giving the back of my hand a speed racer, making it my bitch as I rode up under the sunset. I was happy, confident, pride and joy filled my heart, and people loved me. Elizabeth, Elizabeth, come out to play, they'd say. Yes, because I don't care that I look this way. As I grew, my body changed, growing this way and that, out and up and down, face marked with a red finger paint on my pubescent hell, hair refusing my wishes, refusing to look like the straight beauty that belonged to those who would torment me for my unusual looks in life. Hiding behind my doubts and hurt, lonely, scared, withering under the pressure of the people whose acceptance I wanted the most. People, people, come out to play, please, I'd say. No, not while you look that way. My pride and hurt shattered, I'd run, banishing myself from the eyes of people I wished would look at me and not see a broken, hollow freak, but who I felt I was, who I wanted to be, one of them, beautiful, flawless, happy. I'd pull up my hoodie and run far, far away, finding solace in people as lost and lonely as I myself felt. Our shattered hopes and dreams spread out in our lies and deceits, hoping not to be who we are, but the aristocracy that so harshly condemns us for that which we love. Friends, friends, come out to play, I'd say. No, not while we feel this way. I cried in shame at my own self-demise, writhing under the depression, screaming, twisting, and turning. Notice me! Notice me! Notice me! I'd shout in my head with not a single person to hear it, my life giving me no relief, my own destiny forsaking the twisted little girl that itself created. Not twig thin or porcelain face, no one offering the hard truth of why I can't be them. Why can't I be them? I try finding hope, burying myself in ink and paper, ignoring the cruelty around me, claiming not to notice the demon stabbing the back of my mind. You're wrong, worthless, nothing. I bounced a tumbleweed from one rumor to the next, no rest for the wicked. My only salvation, the words surrounding me, gripping hold and never letting go. Girl, girl, come out to play, they'd say. Yes, because you don't care that I am this way. As years went by, my body morphed into yet another form, with hips jutting from side to side, swaying against my will, waist pulling in, chest growing abnormally full, hair curling in a way that could be worked with, face showing small brown dots on the apples of my cheeks instead of the indiscretions my trudge through puberty forced me to wear, like a mask of hate in the death trap they called school. Stop, stop, what are you doing? Please, not again, no more change. Friends and family stared at me, eyes filled with shock and awe, as if I were a treasure to be hidden away. Using words that haven't graced my adolescent years and it feels like an eternity. Beautiful, lovely, graceful. My brain forced out those thoughts, that I could once again be that happy little child that walked with her bouncy head held high instead of the awkward little teen, left behind at the wars of middle school, left scars on every inch of my weary young soul, feeling too old and worn for my own skin. That skin that made me feel unwelcome and unwanted, undesired by the boys I would hope would someday make me feel like I was the only important girl they'd ever know, instead of the piece of trash their words and gestures turned me into. I hid once more under the shy, overly large clothes I bought for myself at the only stores I could afford to go to, unable to shop at the boutiques and name-brand havens my aggressors wore across their chests like a Congressional Medal of Honor. Bear, bear, come out to play, they would say. Not yet. Not since I changed this way. Not much longer had passed when I finally looked around at the tattered remains of what I will soon call my childhood, and thought to myself, this is what I let myself become? Pushed onto the seas of depression by the unyielding grip of hate and blame from those who never truly knew who I was as a person, allowing myself to float aimlessly and begin to drown under their tyranny? No. Their words were not what made me who I was. The friends who were merely concealed bringers of pain did not make me who I was. The people I once worshipped, hoping to be able to mold my awkward, fragmented self into so I could look around and finally say, I fit in, did not make me who I was. To be them and to give in felt the same as sacrificing all that I was taught to be by my loving givers of birth and life, who were only able to sit back and watch as I fell further and further down the tunnel to a world they couldn't protect their tiny baby girl from. To be them and to forget all that I had read and learned that said they were the ones that needed to change, not me. To To be them is to hurt, and to hurt is to bring pain, and pain is the bile that life spits back up at you after you have nothing left to give the world. Everything else you have to offer taken by those who don't deserve it. No, I am not them. I will not be them. As that epiphany racked my mind, I burst through my proverbial shell, coming forth as a phoenix would its ashes, and leaving all those who brought me down to the hell I was once in, and the dust of the life I had now found. Friends who loved, people who laughed, and teachers that taught to the extent that I could learn, surrounded me, filling my soul once more with the joys and shine of a person who was truly happy. My heart soaring as I looked in the mirror no longer brought on tears of shame and disgust, but smiles of beauty and confidence that someone looking like I do now deserves. Finally, my hell was over. Bumps and bruises may yet still mar the path of my own self-discovery, but I'll no longer let that be the reason I don't love myself for who I am, and not the bitches that made me feel like love was unattainable. Liz, come out to play, they'd say. Yes, because I'm happy I am this way.